Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mitchell's Memories, Part 30. In the previous episode, I talked about how I had healed my body and how I had rejuvenated every aspect of my very being through a holistic protocol, which included living a healthy lifestyle and using natural remedies. I was in generalities. Though I gave a few examples, but simply it would take too much time to go into every detail. But one detail which I didn't mention about, which I really enjoy as a part of my holistic approach, is dancing. And Monica and I love to dance together. And we don't do it like on a regular basis or through a schedule, but every once in a while after dinner, we've digested our food, and one of us will say, let's dance. And we turn on the music and we dance together. And this is actually fantastic for one's health. First of all, when we're dancing together, we are exercising all the muscles in our body. And next, we're listening to great music. It's very enjoyable. And next, it's a fantastic social interaction between us. And when we dance, we are coordinating our movements both with the music and with a partner, which takes a lot of focus, a lot of effort, which is a great stimulation of the brain, which actually helps the whole body and is fantastic for cognitive support. In fact, some scientists say that actually, partners dancing together may be the best exercise there is for slowing memory loss. Anyway, we dance together, and it's so much fun. And when we end, we feel much more energetic than when we began. We are laughing, we are giggling, we are joyful. Most importantly, we are happy. We are so happy. And when you're happy, you're healthy. The two go together, happy and healthy. In the subject of health, I want to mention that for 1 year, I worked at a local cafe called the Feel Good Cafe in Chingford. It's a healthy vegan cafe. And by working there, I learned so much because it's more than just a cafe. It's like a health hub that when I served the customers, they would talk about their ideas of health and I would talk about mine, and we learned from each other. So I want to say that played a very important role in my development of my health protocols. So I want to give my thanks to the owners of Eden and Isa and at the Feel Good Cafe in Chingford. It was a big help for me. Thank you. Now moving right along for the next project. When I was a little boy, I was always fascinated by the element of light. And I was always fascinated by the concept of light versus darkness, of good versus evil. And I remember when I was going to Hebrew school, my rabbi would try to talk me into becoming very religious, and he wasn't very successful. But one thing, as he was talking to me one day, he like stepped back, like he saw me in a different way than he ever did, and he said to me, Mitchell, you're a light. You're a light. And that spoke to me. It didn't make me religious, but it made me, it had a meaning to me. Yes, what I want to be in this world, I want to be a light. And then I learned, and part of the teaching is in Hebrew school was that one of the commandments for Jewish people is to be a light to the people of the world. So that also reinforced my belief that being light is very, very important, the concept of light. Which brings me to a very symbolic dream which I had, which I wish to tell you about. In this dream, I was stretched out on a blanket beside a beautiful lake. And this was a very idyllic scene. The lake was gorgeous. It was surrounded by an amazing forest. In the distance was beautiful mountains. And it was so peaceful there. There was some people, mostly children, were swimming in the lake. And other families were picnicking together, and other people were relaxing and getting some sunshine. But I was just on my back looking at the blue sky and just watching the sky. And then there was just a few puffy clouds passed by, but it was almost 100% sunny day. As time passed, additional clouds moved in, and a few more, and a few more, and I would say it was partly cloudy. And as time passed, and it was like half clouds and half sun. And with the passage of time, the clouds grew in intensity. I almost felt a vibration from them. The clouds were like evil. They were turning very, very dark and threatening. And then I noticed it seemed like there was a fight between the sun and the clouds. But slowly, inexorably, the clouds were gaining in ascendance, and it was becoming darker and darker. Then it was very frightening. I heard like the howling of jackals. A terrible, terrible sound. And I knew that howling was symbolic of the clouds were evil, the darkness was evil. It was taking over like the entire world. And the sun tried to shine brighter, but the clouds were too strong. And slowly but surely, everything became just darkness, pitch black. Everything, the lake, the people, everything disappeared. And it was a horrible moment. The vibrations were of fear. And I heard the howling of jackals, like evil had won. It was like the devil had won. And I said, no, this can't be. This can't be. And I started looking around the dark. Somewhere there must be a light. Somewhere there must be a light. But I looked and I couldn't find. I went up and I went down. I went north and south and east and west. It didn't matter. It was all darkness. But I just tried again because it has to be. Light can't be extinguished. And then I saw it. I saw a light that was so small. It was about the point of a needle. That's how. In other words, that's how small it was. And once I saw that light, I just focused on the light. I forgot the darkness, focused on the light, and the light expanded. It became a little larger and a little larger. It was like a golden light. And it took the form of an object. I saw a chariot, a horse-drawn chariot, but everything was light. The horses were light, the chariot was light. And then on the chariot, there was both a driver of the chariot and a warrior. And I knew it was a warrior because the warrior had his bow and arrow, like he was ready for battle. And I knew they were going to fight the darkness. But they both remained very cool and calm as I was watching these figures of light. In fact, I felt an affinity for the warrior. In fact, looking at the warrior, although he didn't look like me, I felt I was looking at my own self. He represented me. And then the driver drove the chariot very fast to the right position. The archer took out his bow all the way back. In fact, it must have been like a magical bow that it went so far back, should have burst, it should have broken, but it didn't. He went so far back, he pulled it. And he had an arrow of light. And at the right moment, he pulled the arrow. And the arrow of light streaked through the sky. It went up high, right into the heart of the darkness. And then it exploded. There's a tremendous explosion of light. And all the darkness was dispelled. And then I looked around and everything was as it was before. The children swimming in the lake. And people picnicking. People relaxing. The beautiful mountains. The sun was shining. In other words, the light had prevailed. The light had defeated the darkness. And I think the light will always defeat the darkness. If you go into a dark room and turn on the light, the darkness disappears. If there's a light room and you open the door where there's darkness, the light still remains. The light will always be stronger. In the end, the light will win. And I'd like to end with a few words from the English band, Incredible String Band. And may the long time sunshine be upon you. May all love surround you. May the pure light within you guide your way home. The light will prevail, everyone. Don't worry. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.